being exposed to. And also that researchers and advocates can have the information we need to better understand what the exposure risks are to people, to salon workers who are using these products. So we've heard a lot about fragrance today in the earlier presentations with the Taking Stock and Capable study. And there's a lot of serious issues with fragrance. And one of the issues is that right now there are no requirements for under federal law that ingredients used in fragrance have to be disclosed. So right now, there's just no, salon workers aren't getting that information, and people who are purchasing personal care or cosmetic products in a retail store are not getting information of what ingredients are used in fragrance. So there can be over 4,000 chemicals that can be used in fragrance compositions. So that doesn't mean that all 4,000 are used in one fragrance composition, but if you look at a retail label, you wouldn't see this on the label of salon products because there are no federal requirements that they have to be for any ingredient disclosure for salon products. But if you looked at a retail product, you see the word fragrance or perfume. That could mean there could be dozens of fragrance ingredients used in that fragrance composition. But really what manufacturers are doing or suppliers are doing are pulling from these 4,000 chemicals listed on the International Fragrance Research Association's list of chemicals that can be used in fragrance compositions. In our analysis, a third of all chemicals used in fragrance have been flagged as toxic by scientists around the world. Despite that, again, we still don't have the right to know what ingredients are used in fragrance, and professional salon workers are disproportionately exposed to fragrance because they're using many fragrance products on their clients for multiple days at a time, for multiple hours of the day. So they're really bearing the brunt of exposure to harmful chemicals. And research has shown, we need more research in this area, but research has shown that hairdressers and beauticians have a 47-fold higher risk of fragrance skin allergies than people in other occupations. But right now, there's no way to avoid some of those chemicals they may be allergic to because there's no disclosure. I think it's worth noting that the California Work-Related Asthma Prevention Program has documented that the use of fragranced products in the workplace is associated with work-related asthma. And as I mentioned, there's just lack of disclosure, which is deeply concerning, which gets us to the Fragrance and Flavor Ingredient Right to Know Act, also introduced by Representative Jan Schakowsky. The bill number is HR 5538. So what does this bill do? How does this bill solve the problem? One, it would require on-pack disclosure of any fragrance or flavor chemicals that appear on 21 designated hazard lists that are referenced in the bill, including any updates to these designated lists. So these hazard lists are often generated by a government agency, and it flags chemicals where there's a breadth of research that show that chemical is toxic. And so this law, if passed, this legislation would require that any chemicals on those 21 lists that are used in fragrance or flavor must be disclosed. It also requires on-pack disclosure of the EU's fragrance allergens. The European Union lists 26 fragrance allergens, and those would have to be disclosed on-pack on the actual label of products, and including any updates to this regulation. And it's worth noting that the EU is in the process, albeit a long process, to update this list of fragrance allergens to expand it to include over 80 fragrance allergens. And then also requires website disclosure of the hazardous chemicals that are required to appear on product labels, plus any other fragrance or flavor ingredients that are intentionally added to the finished cosmetic product at or above 100 parts per million. So this, if passed, this would give us much more information, needed information on some of the toxic fragrance and flavor ingredients and fragrance ingredients and flavors above 100 parts per million that salon workers are being exposed to. I also just wanted to note that there's already some precedents for this in terms of policy. You know, many of the groups presenting today, including Black Women for Wellness and Breast Cancer Prevention Partners and the California Healthy Nail Salon Collaborative, worked to pass the California Fragrance and Flavors Right to Know Act, or SB 312. And this requires disclosure of toxic fragrance and flavors ingredients to the California Safe Cosmetics program. So it doesn't require on-package labeling, but it does require manufacturers to disclose that information to the California Safe Cosmetics program, which will then include that information in the cosmetics database, which is a publicly searchable database where you could look up products and see if they contain chemicals that you're concerned about. And it also includes salon products. So that's important to note. So just to wrap things up, I mean, what can you do to support the Safer Beauty Bills package? So not just the Fragrance and Flavors Right to Know Act that I was just talking about, but if you want to support the entire Beauty Bills package, you can get out your phone right now. It's super easy to do, and just text Voices Cosmetics to 52886. And we will get you connected and make it super easy for you to take action. Your voice really matters. Your experiences matter. As salon workers, I think it's really important that your experience is shared with congressional representatives on why these bills are important. It only takes a few minutes, so please take some time to do that. If you want to go a step, you can also call, again, text Voices Cosmetics to 52886. And if you really want to take a deeper dive into getting involved, you can schedule a virtual visit with your congressional representatives. And we're here to help you. You can contact me if you're interested in doing that, or really anyone who spoke today about the policies. And we'll walk you through the process. We'll be here to support you. And possibly we could even attend the meeting with you. So that's just kind of concludes the main points of what is included in the Fragrance and Flavors Right to Know Act and why it is important. That also concludes the policy presentations. And now we have time for Q&A. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I really want to thank all of our presenters in this panel for presenting this really critical information about what policies have been introduced to address the issues we've been talking about over the last few days. So let's see if